About 90 years ago, a man wrote a song, recorded it, came out on radio, and it was popular for a while, but it went out of fashion, and a lot of people forgot about it. What if I told you that it predicted perfectly what's going on right now, 90 years later? Now, I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering who this is with this very old car. Some of you are probably familiar with the singer Jimmie Rodgers. He was one of the greats. Now, in today's video, I'm going to tie a song he wrote and recorded to events today in a way that is going to absolutely make you lose your mind. How could he have known? How could he have known 90 years later? If you had gone back from his era 90 years to, what would that have been, 1842? It's unrecognizable. But 90 years into the future, for him to know the values, unbelievable. Now, last couple of days, I had mentioned a long time ago that I was taking part in this program that they're instituting right now for whatever reason. Those of us who, when we were younger or in the military, were vaccinated against smallpox, they've asked us to come in and be re-vaccinated against smallpox. Only a few of us qualify for this. And they gave us the smallpox vax again. They're going to, after a certain period, begin drawing plasma a couple times a week, and they're going to use that blood plasma to develop treatments for those who have an adverse reaction to the upcoming new smallpox vaccine. Now, you can probably do a whole video on that, but I just wanted to explain what's been going on with me last couple of days, especially yesterday. I was down for the count. Fever, chills, sweating, dizziness, the whole bit. And that's just part of it. It lasts for about a day or two. But it's a reinforcing thing for me that had I not had access to hot running water to be able to bathe, shower, copious amounts, and ending really for Americans, amounts of fresh water, clean water, to deal with what I was going through, climate-controlled environment, the ability to wash bedding and wash clothes and all this kind of stuff. Without that ability, what I put behind me in a matter of 2 to 3 days would probably take a matter of weeks and could end up being something that goes a lot longer. Now, real quick, as always, I just want to be thankful. I want to express and live a life of gratitude. Thank you to everyone who stepped up and supported me here and at Patreon. $1 level, $5 level. God bless all of you. Most recent video over at Patreon is for the $5 level folks, but the vast majority of videos, hundreds in fact, are, and they go back all the way to 2018, 2017 actually, I think. There's probably some videos from. The vast majority of the videos are for the $1 level. Only $1 a month. That's it. Even less if you sign up for an entire year, fully refundable, first 90 days, no questions asked. Of course, as always, partnering with Vimeo, gloves off videos. We could show images and say things we're not allowed to say here. So just wanted to say thank you. God bless all of you. Now, just wanted to give an update on what lower center is a stock image. Image on the right is my actual arm. Strategic National Stockpile of smallpox vaccinia virus. It's literally called vaccinia because this was really the very first thing that people were vaccinated against. That's why it's called vaccinia. Now, while I was down for the count, I had the good fortune of watching a video from the Patriot Nurse. Her most recent one, it was actually a premiere, where she's talking about herbalism. And she's talking about using herbs in a grid down, power down prepper situation when what they refer to as allopathic or big medicine is no longer available, or you want to extricate yourself from that system. And she says something, and this is all tied together. She says something that I think was something that God put in her heart to say, that I don't think she even realized it when she said it, because it has such a bigger message. It's a huge message. Let's play this real quick.
Right. The white coat world is really good at stabilizing people. It's not good at promoting health at all. So for instance, to compare and contrast these, how would you compare the action of mullein, for instance, or red raspberry leaf to a typical cough and cold syrup, right? They're completely different in the way that they deal with things. The cough and cold syrup has the approval stamp of the FDA with all of their nepotism and cronyism and money to be made on the side from conflicts of interest. They may have the stamp of, oh, this is safe and approved for coughs and colds, et cetera, et cetera. But look at all the stuff that's in your average cough and cold syrup. It's usually Tylenol, which most people do not need. Tylenol depletes the liver of glutathione, which is a very important intracellular antioxidant. So you may be suppressing the fever, which is actually doing more damage in many cases than good, because your body needs that fever in order to complete its immune system cycles and processes. Also, if you're depleting the body of a very important intracellular antioxidant like glutathione, which is one of the unfortunate side effects of acetaminophen, Tylenol, if that is a side effect, you may be experiencing, for instance, symptom relief, but you may be extending actually the duration of the overall disease and illness.
Okay, now, that actually has a much bigger message than I believe that she even knew at the time. Because truly, to be very honest, I probably should have owned stock in Excedrin, because it's something that I've taken 2 to 3 times a day for as long as I can remember. And of course, those of you who don't know, Excedrin is a combination of acetaminophen, Tylenol, aspirin, and caffeine. So it has the triple whammy effect of the acetaminophen being an anti-inflammatory, the caffeine, of course, being a little stimulant, a little boost, and the aspirin being a bit of a blood thinner. And that makes life a little bit easier on your heart. Now, in her video, she goes through 4 different things: comfrey, oat straw, red raspberry, and mullein. I have personally used red raspberry and mullein. I've never used oat straw or comfrey. I don't know anything about them. I can attest to both of those, though. They're absolutely fantastic. But what's the bigger message? What am I talking about with this whole thing with how our body needs the fever? Our body needs the fever to kick what we're going through. Now, if Patriot Nurse has a website where you can get these herbs, she's got a whole bunch of them. She got her live training class, recommended books, YouTube channel, her whole bit right here. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. The idea is this: as a country, what we're going through right now is a fever. And we have been using a form of Tylenol to mask the symptoms of all of the mistakes this country has made over the last 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And like she said, like the patron said, allopathic medicine, read government, is really good at stabilizing things, but not fixing the root problem. And what's going on right now is this exact thing. Case in point, Trump supporters. Is this a fair image of what you are hoping for with a next presidency, a second presidency of Donald Trump? To make America great again, restore America's standing on the world stage, fix the economy, secure the border, end the war in Ukraine, restore American energy independence, impose tariffs on China. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? Okay. Let me ask a question. What if your kid came to you and said, Mom, Dad, I want to be a hobo. Oh, I know other kids, they want to grow up, they want to be firefighters, they want to be policemen and engineers, and I want to be a hobo. You'd say, that's great, you're not being a hobo. But hobos are good people. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. They even have a code. I found it here on the internet, Mom. Listen to this, Mom. Decide your own life. Don't let another person run or rule you. Decide your own life. Don't let another person run or rule you. Is that a good value? This is the Tourist Union number 63, Hobo Code of Ethics, 1889. When in town, always respect the local law and officials and try to be a gentleman at all times. Don't take advantage of someone who is in a vulnerable situation, locals or other hobos. Always try to find work, even if just temporary, and always seek out jobs nobody wants. By doing so, you not only help a business along, but ensure employment should you return to that town again. Seek a job nobody wants. Is there a group of people coming across the border seeking jobs nobody wants? Just thinking out loud there for a minute. When no employment is available, make your own work by using your side talents and crafts. Wow, side talents and crafts. Are there any websites out there where people are making money now on the side, doing what they can? Do not allow yourself to become a stupid drunk and set a bad example for locals' treatments of other hobos. See, this is you caring about other hobos. Doesn't Trump brag about never having had a drink in his life? When jungling in town, meaning grouping together, respect handouts. Respect handouts, do not wear them out. Another hobo will be coming along behind you who will need them as badly, if not worse than you. Always respect nature. Do not leave garbage where you are jungling. If in a community jungle, always pitch in and help. Try to stay clean and boil up, which means take off all your clothes and put them in boiling water to get rid of the lice. And all this. Basically, the idea is stay clean. And basically, I'll give you this, and you can find a list to it. It's all really good values. Really, really good values. But you're not going to have your kid be a hobo. They even had their own language. They even had their own language and their own symbols that they would leave on mailbox posts and anywhere they could, really, to let other hobos know what was up in that town, traveling the rails. Now, here's my translation of the aforementioned. The idea of restoring our standing on the world stage. Make everyone else's opinion our priority. And isn't that the idea? Restore our standing in the world. Is the opinion of everybody else in the world relevant? Is the opinion of everyone else in the world relevant? Restore the economy. Make material gain government's job. Make material gain government's job. Rewrite number 3, securing the border. Rewrite the Constitution to only grant God-given rights to a few, not all. Rewrite the Constitution to only grant God-given rights to a few, not all, meaning only people who come here legally, only people who pass Washington, D.C.'s immigration test are then entitled to rights. Stop the war in Ukraine. Stick our nose into foreign affairs where it doesn't belong. You see, whether you're for doing things to promote the war in Ukraine, you're all on side of Ukraine, you think we should be sending money and we should be doing all that, or you're for doing things to intervene and stop the war, you're still intervening into foreign affairs, are you not? You're still intervening one way or the other. Nobody's saying, hey, you know what? We shouldn't have an opinion one way or the other. Nobody is saying this. You're either for the war. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Still fighting this thing. You're either for it or you want somebody to stop it. But nobody's saying just wash our hands of it. Restore America's energy independence means hand complete control of America's resources back to big oil interests, because that's the case. Isn't that really the issue? People want cheap gas again, right? They want one price for us, but other prices for other people. And then, of course, the tariffs on China, everybody knows. Destroy free trade by reimposing 1930s era protectionist policies just like Obama did. Now, real quick. The picture that we were... 1 second. Here we go. Hold on. I don't want to get a copyright strike here. Hold on. It was a song called Hobo's Meditation. by Jimmy Rogers. Now, what was the big prediction? What was the big thing that he wrote into the lyrics? That he wrote in the lyrics that are relevant to today? Tonight as I lay on the boxcar, just waiting for a train to pass by, what will become of the hobo? When his time comes to die, there's a master up yonder in heaven. He's got a place we might call our home. Will we have to work for a living? Perish the thought. Or can we continue to roam? You see, that was a value. They wanted to have jobs, but they didn't want to have a permanent one. Will there be any freight trains in heaven? Any boxcars in which we might ride? Will there be any tough cops or brakemen? Read rule of law. Will there be any rule of law? Will they tell us that we cannot ride? Will the hobo chum with the rich man? What does that have to do with anything? Well, it's real simple. Why would a hobo care to chum with the rich man? Why would he care? Why would he care about the opinions of the rich man? Will we always have money to spare? See, that's another hobo value. Money at all cost. Will they have respect for the hobo? Respect for the hobo? Why would a hobo care about respect? Because what was the life they were living? They were looked down upon, and they didn't have any money, and they were always running from the rule of law. You see, that's the issue with what's going on. The best version of that song, by the way, is from Dolly, Emmylou, and Linda Ronstadt. And if you guys want an absolute treat, I have said for a long time that Linda Ronstadt might have been the greatest female vocalist ever to live, and there was a moment she proved this. She was on stage with Dolly and Emmylou, the Carson Show, and I'll give you the link to this too. And they're singing this song, Hobo's Meditation, and Linda Ronstadt just has a voice that she doesn't even need a microphone. And they're trying to do harmony here, and her lead is so powerful that Emmylou can't even hear herself, and they miss a beat because she can't get the right note. And this is Emmylou Harris. I mean, this is somebody who's won Grammy Awards. And Dolly picks up on it and what's happened, and they all kind of have a big laugh, but it just shows. But speaking of perfect harmony, another great song. If you want to know anything about Florida Marquee values, listen to Let There Be Peace on Earth by Vince Gill. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. And that doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter where they come from, because the people coming here now have a lot in common with hobos. They really do. I mean, think about it. I mean, when you look at the values of the hobo, and the ones who wanted to ride the rails, and the ones who wanted to avoid the rule of law and all this guys, does it sound familiar? Does it sound familiar to what's going on at the border? You see, this is what ties this all in together. It's what ties this all in together. This country needs to let the fever run its course. This idea of ameliorating everything with money or with emotionalism or with bread and circuses or with all of these other political talking points isn't going to be the fix. We're going to have to, just like I had to let the fever run its course. I had to let the fever be the fever, so to speak, instead of taking 8 or 9 or 10 Excedrin a day to keep the fever down. I just let it go and let it run its way up and run its way back down again. I'm still kind of a little groggy from it, but I'm a lot better than I was 18 hours ago. So I will leave it there. God bless. Once again, the idea of letting the Tylenol go, the idea of not doing more harm than good by ameliorating the symptoms, has a much bigger message than just the individual. So, but it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question that I would like to ask. Would you let, even with these values, how would you talk your kid out of being a hobo if he showed you this list? I mean, one of these says help your fellow hobos whenever and wherever needed. You may need their help someday. Do not cause problems in a train yard. Another hobo will be coming along. We'll need passage through that yard. I mean, all these values, these hobo values. Wow. How would you talk your kid out of being a hobo? Well, I was going to say something, but I'm going to probably leave that there because I don't want to push things too far. But trust me when I tell you, anything you can do, because all it takes is one little sickness. If you don't got a place to bathe, if you don't got cold, clean, running water, I've been eating ice like crazy. I mean, it's something I've kind of done for a long time. But man, my ice machine can't even keep up. So anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you guys for your prayers very much. I appreciate it. You guys are making the difference. You're absolutely making the difference. Stepping up, standing in the gap. I very much appreciate it. God bless. Pray for each other. I'll pray for you. Pray for me. Lift each other up. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.